So Sankyo, we're going to come in, we'll just do a really basic version here where I just move around, I'm doing a here, control him from here, and then I grab his hand and I shift into this position here. And then this arm. Okay, so this is ostensibly a wrist technique, but what do we say? There are no such things as wrist techniques. Everything is on the body. So don't think about, now here's the, we talked about, move this way a little bit. We talked about the common error in the Nikyo in the last class. So now I want to talk about common errors in the Sankyo. So in order to make the Sankyo work, you're really manipulating all the way up from the pinky up the forearm here. And we want to think about that part of the hand spiraling up, and this tendon that runs up the arm on this side is the thing that we're going to control. Sometimes you see people do it like this. This won't work unless you do that, unless you focus on that tendon, and then it works really well. But if you're doing this and just twisting, it's going to hurt. Some people are not going to be able to tap on it. But if you do the proper approach, if you apply the pressure in the right position here, I am going to show this variation where the hand is straight, and then you can figure out the other one pretty easily from that. So we want to think about how I'm going to twist my hip using the push off from the ground with the feet, and all of that energy is going up through his arm, okay? And that's not some magical chi energy. I'm just talking about the kinetic energy that moves through as I pushed up, right? And I'm focusing here on the wrist. A lot of people will make two big circles. One circle with their hips, one circle with his wrist. And then if you get to the point where you're like forcing it, yeah, he's probably going to tap, or somebody who's not experienced will tap. But in order to get the most flexible guys to tap, and the guys with the strongest wrist to tap, you really have to focus in on the small spiral that goes up through his arm. And when that happens, he feels it up his arm. It's not in the wrist, because this is not where the tendons are that control the hands. They're all in the forearm, right? Flex your hand, or make a fist, you'll see tendons, right? Open your hand, you'll see the tendon movement. That's what we're playing with, the whole forearm, not just the hand or the wrist, and that you have to remember. So I'm going to concentrate the movement from the body into the wrist, very small. Okay, now, I'm going to do this easy. I want you to walk backward. If you're uke, you don't want to do this. Walk backward, also. Right, because he can kind of walk backward like that. Okay, fine. If I'm controlling him, and I really put it on him and he starts to walk backward, right? This is what happens. So as uke, just stand there. This is the practice. And I know the natural tendency, he goes to do Sankyo, and the natural tendency is for me to do this. Don't just stand there and tap. Because in reality, if he's got you to this point, walking backwards is not going to do anything like that, and you're done. Doesn't matter how fast you can walk backward. He can move faster like this. So just stay in position and let the person get the lock on the wrist, and then tap whenever you feel it, and that should be the better way. Don't try to move. Yes?
The reason why walk backwards doesn't work. If he's focusing on my wrist, I can walk backwards.
Yeah.
Because the twist is here.
Yeah.
If he's rotating my elbow, I can't walk backwards because the backwards movement doesn't take tension.
Yeah.
It does for my wrist, it doesn't for my elbow.
That's the thing about this. Doing the Sankyo in the right way, it goes up the arm. And when Sensei would do it to me, that's where I would feel it too.
Right here.
Up the arm, right, not in the wrist.
No, it's fine.
So again, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. This is the most basic one, okay? This is really easy. 1, 2, 3. Just try to get that movement. And then we'll fine-tune it with some more techniques. Okay. So one more thing that I want to show you, we'll do it on the next technique as well. When I'm moving in like this, all right, I'm going to come in and immediately take control of his arm by putting my shoulder into the back of his arm here, okay? And this allows me control enough that if I wanted to actually take him to the ground with this, sorry, I should have warned you.
It works.
If I wanted to take him to the ground with this control here, that's how much control I should have. Because now if he tries to pull away, he tries to do some funky stuff, well, he actually got away. But I still managed to catch his arm. So if, let's see, over here. So if he's holding on to my arm and he tries to pull away, hold on to my arm, like like you're trying to grab me and pull me out of the way. I can still have some control in this technique. So this is a very good place, moving in and planting the arm here against the back of his arm, and that gives me the leverage while I'm working in the hand position. Because I might need a few seconds, right? You can get the transition pretty quick, but if you don't have control, you see what happens? You lose that. So you got to come in and boom, first take control of the hand here. So same side grab, we'll do a different one. This time we're going to step this way, away from that hand. Give him a little atemi, and I'm going to reach over and grab the hand from here. Come over again with the shoulder. Now I got to switch to grip here. Coming up, everything's the same from here on out. Okay, so here I'm stepping, boom, off the line, just like this. If he's coming with that punch, throw the punch. It's like a roundhouse. See? So if I'm coming up with an atemi, and he's throwing the punch, I'm either going to pop him, or I may have to use that as a block here. In which case I can continue with the atemi and move into the Sankyo here. So always bringing the other hand up, whether you're doing an atemi or not, having the hand in position, so if that hand comes in, then I can change up and do something with that if I need to. We won't do all that, but we're going to be ready to do that if we need to. Here's the atemi. Boom. I'm going to reach over here. I'm going to take control of his hand. Now look what happens when I take control. It's just like when we do Aikido. Over here. Again. So here. One. Pick up the hand. He grabs as hard as he can. So where's the grip release? You see that? That's one way of doing it. Let's see what I'm doing here. Against the thumb. So I can break the thumb. But what else am I doing? I'm standing here and I'm using my body weight. Right? There's the sand. Elbow is in here. Shifting to this leg. Now I can control here. I can shift back. Be in the top of my eye. I could be here, or I could be here, depending on where the distance is. So that's another advantage of the way that we practice using one foot to create the axis of rotation rather than doing it on 2 feet. Because if I'm too close to him, I can sink back onto this leg and have the strength come from here. If I'm a little bit far away, and I don't want to sink back, right? I want to stay in close to the center so I can stay on this leg. You understand what I'm saying? I just kind of thought of that just now, and that shifting back and forth can actually help establish your ma. So I'm here, I want to come in like this, I'm going to move in, I can shift in on the left leg here, right? And use the left leg to power the Sankyo. Or, if I need to, I can shift back and do it off of the right leg. Okay, so either one of those. But that requires the understanding that my energy is going straight up and then spiraling into his wrist like this, up his arm. So one more time on the grip release, slowly, punching, reaching across, grabbing here. This hand goes on the thumb. And then I can come around like Ikkyo, but then drop under. Okay, try. So, what are we going to do next? Let's go for the overhead strike here. And then right into the Sankyo. So this is a good one. Again, you don't get a lot of overhead strikes, but we have seen overhead strikes, especially if there's a weapon involved. And I will say this, I've used Sankyo on people, breaking up fights, controlling them. In a chaotic situation, I was able to put Sankyo on several people. This is one that I've done several times. And it's very effective, and it seems like, you know, you wouldn't be able to make the hand change or make the thing work in the middle of chaos, but you can. You just have to practice. And this is another one that looks like it's really hard to do, but just takes a little bit of practice. So the first thing is matching the hands. I'm just going to come up, and same hand that he's striking with, I'm coming up with a deflection. I block deflection, but it's more like a deflection. And slowly I come up, and I'm not stopping. I'm not going to boom, stop, and then move again, right? I'm coming up with this hand and it's redirecting. It's kind of deflecting off like this. And then here's where that use of the shoulder really comes into play, because if you have been doing the regular Sankyo by putting the shoulder here, then this will be kind of a natural transition here. Because now I need the shoulder to drop the hand down and change. I have to turn it slightly. See that? And then I'll get the hand here, and then to the Sankyo. So it comes in here, boom, boom, pick it up. Okay, slowly one more time. One, and I'll come in, shoulder, turn it, pick it up here. Where's the atemi? Well, if I get to this point, I don't really need an atemi because I can tear his wrist up. But if I want to get this over with, I can extend the twist here and throw the punch at the same time. Let's go. Right? However, if you got a Sankyo on someone, I would take them to the ground. And there are a couple of different ways to take them to the ground, which we're not going to really do too much of tonight because I want to focus on the Sankyo. But you can cut him this way, but you can also cut him. You can take the hand. I won't do this. It's really tough on the uke. But you can take the person back down toward the ground this way. And again, it sucks to take uke for that. We're not going to practice those tonight. Maybe some other time in the future. But I want you to focus on the Sankyo itself. So this part is complicated enough without doing the rest of it. So we'll just stick to this. And then you can just imagine cutting or coming back like this. Really, the most basic one, if you want to try this, is just to cut. If you want to try, but you don't have to. Okay, questions? Okay, last one. He's going to catch me from behind. So, yeah, we're just going to do basic kind of attack, and we're not going to really put a whole lot of force on the choke. Now, if a person is really choking you, this is where the choke is going to be. Let me just show you the choke. So just so you know, this is, yeah, okay.
It makes it easier to see.
This is not a choke, right? This is a strangle. If I'm going against the windpipe, I'm actually strangling him, which takes a lot longer, so that's not a good idea. But no, really, choking someone out is dangerous enough. Strangling someone will kill them. And this happened with the Marine on the subway in New York City. Right. He had the guy in the chokehold for 15 minutes. It shouldn't take 15 minutes. It should take 5 seconds, and he's out. But if you're holding on to a person's neck like this for more than 10 or 15 seconds, you're doing it wrong, and you're going to strangle them. And it's dangerous enough to choke somebody out. So I wouldn't go around willy-nilly choking people out either, because people die from that too. But if you're in that situation, your elbow should be lined up with the chin so that your arms are putting pressure on both sides of the carotid sinus here. This is where they cut off the circulation to the brain, and this is what puts him out in 4 or 5 seconds. If you're putting pressure on the windpipe, you're going to put him in a hospital and maybe kill him, but he's still going to be struggling. So here's where the normal chokehold is going to be. But he's not going to put it on me all the way. I'm going to try to catch it before he gets the thing on me. So let's just come in for the chokehold. If he gets it on you, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to kind of sink down and try to get your hand wedged in here. So it's better if you can catch him a little bit. So remember, you got a second. He's going to come up behind you, and someone actually did this to me. So you have a second, if you can, to wedge your hand in there. Now, I'm not doing this. My hand is wedged. If he pulls in tight, right, he's pulling against my body strength. So I can resist this all day long. Okay, but now I have to get away from that hand. So I'm using this to pry away. And if I need to, I can throw some strikes here to get him loosened up. And now I'm in this position. So if he's all the way on, say he has both hands here, I'm going to have to step out and do something here. Actually, if he's really strong and he's got a good grip here and I can't move this hand, the first thing I start doing is stomping, right? I can reach and grab stuff behind me. That always works. But if I come in with an elbow here, boom, and I can get my hand wedged in. That's the thing we want to try to get this hand wedged in. And now look at the natural position. The Sankyo just kind of comes right from that, okay? So the idea then is he's coming in for the choke. I'm trying to get my hand in between, so and locked in, not here, where he can still come in close. If I'm out here, he can still pull in tight, right? Because I'm just using my arm strength. But here, he's going against my body, so he pulls in, and he can't pull in tight. So he's trying to pull even with both hands. I've got the wedge here. So all I got to do is slip out, and now I have the Sankyo. Okay? So one more time, very slowly, he comes in. I'm going to try to trap here, all right? Slip out. Sankyo. Okay. On the other side.